Hey, it's TDA, and today I want to show you Alchemy Factory. This is a game coming out in November, I believe, but currently has a demo that actually is really interesting. Now, it's good to know that this demo is only available for this weekend, and it's actually going to go away for a little while and come back during the next Steam Fest, I think. So somewhere in October. So if you want to check it out, make sure you do that right after this video. I'm just gonna dive into a new game and show you what this looks like. This is a game you can play in multiplayer, by the way. And look at this. We're actually playing and setting up a factory in the middle of a town, which is kind of awesome. There's a message waiting for us over here, which basically means that we are going to need to produce 20 wooden gears in order to increase our alchemy level with the Alchemy Guild. Kind of nice to have a real quest line to go along with that. Now, we have some stores over here. Hopefully at some point there's going to be actual merchants here as well, but for now we can buy a log and then we can go over here and build a wooden table. Look at this stuff. This looks so pretty. It's just yeah, it's kind of like a comic book look almost, but I'm kind of digging the vibes of that. Okay, so we can also do some research. We are going to research a table saw. Now, this factory game does everything in miniature. That doesn't mean you're going to build a small factory. It's just a lot of different perspective than a lot of other games that you might be used to, like Dyson Sphere Factory, where you're building Dyson Sphere Program, actually, sorry, where you're building entire universes. Well, here you're just going to be building a shop, and it's actually at that scale as well. We're going to research a table saw. Now, just because I already did this, I'm actually going to queue up a grinder as well, which is going to be processing stuff that comes from the saw. I am going to get myself a conveyor belt research as well, and a small storage box, just to speed things up a little bit. We're basically in the tutorial, but yeah, this is how this game looks. Now, you can use some decoration as well. Look, we can place candles, but not gonna spend my resources on that just yet because I need my table saw. There we go. We can put it on the table. It is a table saw after all. And then we can put a log in there. Whoop. And now it's going to make planks for us. Look at that. Tiny little planks coming out of the front. It looks so awesome. However, we want to automate stuff. So let's put a tiny little belt in front of that as well. Look at that, so cute. And then we're going to be putting in a tiny little grinder. And this grinder is going to make the gears that we need. And we can put another tiny little belt. And then we're going to get that storage box that I just made. And we're going to put that on the table. Look at the people walking around village. Hey guys, I'm going to be making stuff for you. You will be buying that from me soon because I am running out of money. Anyway. And you can see the log is being processed into planks, into gears, which are now going to be stored up in here. Ta-da! And we need 10 of those. Now, as you can see, this is not really going all that quick, so what I can actually do is really improve on this as well by taking my my conveyor belts like this and really expanding them like so, and then have like multiple different directions in which these things flow. So I am going to build myself another couple of grinders like this. And look at that, now I have multiple parallel grinders like here, and this means that I am now going to be able to process stuff a lot quicker. And of course I can always do this. Now, as you can see, this is kind of going to mess up my setup for this box. So I can remove the box just to show you how this works. There you go. And if I now build another box, I can actually shift the layout of this box. So by pressing T, I can, for example, just make it a very simple box that goes from the back to right. But you can also put this in multiple stories and things like that. Now, let me make sure that this stuff has somewhere to go. There we go. And look at that, now we're producing way more gears. Now I already have 20, so it is time to go to my inbox. Did you just enter my house? Anyway, there we go. And we get some money for that. And we just upgraded our level. Our shop's reputation just went up by 10 and our alchemy level by 2, which means we now have access to flax seeds and limestone. As a side note, in case you were wondering, if you look at the log, it's actually going to last you quite a while. It's not going to be infinite, but you don't have to constantly manually restock this table saw. It is going to produce quite a few things before the actual log runs out and you have to replenish it once more. I also want to point out that the tutorials in this game are really, really good. As you can see, it's a lot of show, not just tell, which a lot of other games should take an example to. But yeah, you can really easily see some examples about how to set up your first few factories. Speaking of which, this is going to produce a nice amount of gears, but I actually do want to produce some planks as well, because we need that to build pretty much everything we're currently building. Now, just to show you how awesome the conveyor belt building in this game is, look at this. You can just drag and drop, and voila, we have a conveyor belt. Now, my first log actually just ran out, so let me buy a couple more. 1, 2, there we go. Let's restock this. This is 1. This is 2. There's some automation going, or some manual loading going on, but like I said, this is not going to take up too much of your time. Now we're making some of those cogs and we're making some planks for the future. Now, that means next up on the line is limestone. Limestone is a bit expensive, as you can see, at 600 coins, but it is going to be worth it because at some point we want to start selling stuff to our customers as well. Now, let's add in a secondary table like this, and we're going to be doing some research. There we go. We need a crusher to crush those stones into something, and then we are going to be processing them into mortar. Now, in order to do that, as you will see in a moment, we are going to need to unlock stuff. Sorry about all the flipping, still getting used to the controls there. But here we go. So let me make sure I put that nicely at the edge of this table in the corner, maximizing the space we have. Might as well make 2 of these because we do need some stones as well as some more advanced materials. So that means I need 2 limestones. 1 for this one and 1 for the other one. Then we are going to be making... We could make a belt, but what you can actually do as well is just directly connect this up to something. So let's start researching the processor in the meanwhile. Let's take a box and then let's flip this around a little bit. There we go. 1, 2. And as you can see, the stones are actually moving directly in the box as well. So that is one way of doing that. Now, we are going to need some of those stones in order to actually build this next thing. No, actually no. We are going to need the stones to build a seed plot. But we are going to be processing some of the rest of the stone into mortar. As you can see, mortar is going to sell for 40 gold. Now, if you compare that to some of the other stuff that we just unlocked, like the gears. I'm not sure where we can see the price of stuff. It's probably in the menu somewhere. I'll come across it, but the mortar is going to sell for 40, and I think the gears are just going to sell for 8 or something like that. So it's more expensive to make this stuff, of course. But let's connect one of these up. It's really awesome that you can actually see when it lines up with your buildings. You can see it turning blue when it does. There we go. And then we're going to need 1 more of those blocks. It says like this. Let me push the correct button there. There we go. And now we have some mortar flowing in here. Assuming we have the recipe, which we don't at the moment, I think. Nope, still have to research that, so let's do that. We can also research the small wooden gear. This is going to be an improved... Oh, there you go. You can see the gear actually sells for 8. So the large gears that we're making are probably going to sell for even less. So that's kind of horrible. But we can turn one of the larger gears into a smaller gear just by processing it. And that means that we can increase the price by doing that. So more advanced materials will get you better stuff. Makes sense, I guess. Let's select the recipe. And let's select mortar over here. Stone into mortar straight away. Nothing special about that. But there you can see it is now starting to work. We can probably double up on that production, actually. Not really because we need it, but, you know, just because we can. We don't need that many stones. So if I do the same over here, and recipe set, let's set it to this. I could actually start processing some of the other things over here as well. And, you know, I am just going to do that because I can. So, is this table out of line? Yeah, it is. Okay, we can't have that. Let's see. Let's remove the table. Confirm. And then we need to go back into the menu. Yeah, I know what I'm doing, sort of. There we go. And then we are going to be building another one of those grinders over here. Let's have that turn around. Can actually do it like this. Not sure if it can be mirrored, but that is not strictly necessary at the moment. Let's make small wooden gears. And let's have another one of these boxes over here. I'm just gonna go with these boxes. I think this is the safe or a logical thing to make. And then last but not least, we are going to make some seeds. So we are going to buy some flax seeds. You can actually run this game as well, which is kind of awesome. I mean, not that we need to do that much walking, but still. Let's research the seed plot. Takes only a minute. We're going to need some stone to build that. I'm actually not sure if I need the stone in my inventory to do that. Let's test that out. Would be nice if it just gets it from wherever it is in your factory. Nope, that doesn't work. Would have been too easy, I guess, but still. Let's get some stone. There's plenty of stone to go around here. As you can see, we have a whole stack of stone here as well. And where are we planting that? I don't know, maybe here? Like in front of the window? Let's plant some seeds. I'm actually going to double up on that. Not sure if that's the smart thing to do. We're actually running out of money a little bit. So I might want to be careful with that. Because we need to start selling stuff now. Okay, so let's move into the actual shop. Look at that. Actually go up the stairs. There's a little bed here. Look. That's where we're sleeping. We can store things here. Those are nice little details that I think are very easy to miss and underappreciate, but they are still quite awesome. Okay, so let's have some storage over here. We're going to sell, I think, at least some mortar. Now here you can see the prices. So the large wooden gears are only 5. The small wooden gears are already 8. But we can sell some mortar now. So, some mortar, and maybe we can just sell some of those small gears as well. There we go. Let's make sure we pick some of those up. We do actually need to pick up some mortar. There we go. There we go. And then we need to put it in the box. We have to manually do that for the moment. We can just hold the mouse button, by the way. You don't have to spam click. Restocking this will take a while. But anyway, there we go. And some mortar over here as well. We could actually add in a second stand, maybe. Oh, we can actually move it a little further back. Is that better? Well, it's more space efficient, so let's do that with this one actually as well then. There we go. And have that all the way back. There we go. Okay, so what I want to do is sell all the mortar. Hello? Yeah. And restock that. Let's make some more mortar over here. Restock that as well. We have plenty of this stuff, and it is the most expensive stuff we can sell at the moment. So, you know, all the mortar. And then we're going to add in some small wooden gears here, just because we can. Okay, so the first day just ended, and as you can see, we are now just getting a financial overview of our day. We spent a lot of money. We gained exactly nothing. So, new day, new chances, and you can actually end the day early as well. You might have missed that just a moment ago, but if you go to the bed, you can just say, okay, end the day now. I think the customers will start arriving in the morning, so that is, of course, something we need to definitely do. In the meanwhile, we can check out some other stuff. So we can unlock the large storage box, which might be useful for later use. But most importantly, we can start unlocking the linen thread. Is this already researching? Yes, it is. Can we research multiple things at the same time? No, we can't, but this is now queued up, so that is fine. Linen thread by itself is going to be useful, I think, but making it into rope is probably even better, because that is, of course, going to be selling quite well, apparently, for 30 gold. So let's make sure we also unlock that. So now we have everything at phase 2 unlocked, and this is actually the thing that we need to make as well in order to unlock the alchemy level 3. Look at that sun moving. It is actually moving. There's people here. Are you going to go to my shop? Hello. Shop entrance is that way. I guess not. We still have about 10 minutes to go for that flax to grow up, so that is going to take a minute. There's a carpenter quest here that we can do that is going to give us 600 gold if we bring them 200 planks. And that is going to allow me to build new stuff. And then there's random quests as well from merchants across the land that are just going to pay you a lot of money. So you don't just need to wait around for your customers. You can really do some of these quests as well. And this is just going to reward us for doing the low level stuff. So we can actually maybe already complete that. I'm not sure how many of these gears we have. Quite a few, apparently. I do need to replenish my logs. Let's do that. Did the stone already run out? Can I see that? Not sure how it looks when the stone is in here. Well, the stone is out, so let's make sure we replenish that. And now I am officially out of money, so let's start making some money as well. There we go. There we go. Ooh, ooh, customers. Hello, hello, hello. Yep. Ooh, money. Yes, give me all your money. Look, I am no longer extremely poor. So what I can do now is make sure I go to this quest. Where was the quest? Was it a random quest? Yes. Oh, I actually need some more stone as well. So let me go to the stone. That was this box, I believe. Ooh, we are actually processing all our stone. Which is not a bad thing. It just means I can't complete the quest right now. But first, let me do some more business. Hello, good sir. Yes, you can get all of the things. And yes, I will take your money. So as you can see, this is going to be kind of the flow of the game. You're making stuff, you're selling stuff, you're automating as much as possible. We can actually do the automatic selling at some point as well. We can have the automatic restock of our goods as well. You can automate everything in this game, so don't worry that you'll have to stand behind the counter the entire day. But there's a bit of stuff to do, especially in the early game. Would you look at that? Stuff is actually selling out pretty quickly now. Let's restock some of that mortar. Should have plenty of that now. Yeah, there we go. And that means we can start restocking the store, because that's a good thing we can kind of sold out. And I can actually complete a quest as well, because I did have enough wood to complete the carpenter's quest. So that is 600 gold, and we can start making a large wooden box. Might be a good alternative when a wooden table is too big. You can kind of stack smaller things on top of that. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so how are things going to go along with my flax? Still 5 minutes, so let's sell some more stuff in the meanwhile. Speaking of which, I now have enough stuff to complete our random quest over here, and that is going to give me another 1,000 gold. And look at the customers lining up to buy stuff. They're all buying the expensive stuff, as you can see. I'm actually selling the mortars faster than I can produce it at the moment. So, I mean, that's a good problem to have, but as you can see, I am completely sold out. Let me see if I still have some of that. There we go. I do have some. But honestly, not that much. So let me go and restock the shelves while the day still lasts. I think the day is almost over though. So there we go. We can also head to the second floor and go to bed to end the day. Yeah, I just explained that to them. They know that tutorial. But customers only patronize shops during daytime hours. Restocking these gears is kind of annoying. Not gonna lie, it takes a little while, and they don't sell for that much, so you know, they do sell, however. So that is 25. Oh, actually, 40 gold was 8 each, and yeah, I mean, we are still making a profit on that stuff. But in the meanwhile, the flax is still 2 minutes away from being done. I am going to fast forward until they're actually done. I just realized I actually have flax already in my inventory, so we can use that, I think, to get this party started. So let's set up a... Let's not overdo this. So let's set up a box over here. Where's the exit? On that side. So we are going to add a processor to the mix. We're going to flip that around. And we are going to set this to process the flax into thread. But I can't do that like this, huh? So I just realized I actually already have some flax in my storage. So what we can do is set up a box like I just did. Then get a grinder. Which is one of these little things. Not sure how many we need, so let's just start with one and have a thingy attached to that. Now this is going to grind that stuff, assuming I actually put it into the box. There we go. Into mesh, and that mesh can then be turned into a processing machine like this. Into, can I set the recipe please? There we go. Into a linen thread. And then that linen thread can be turned into a linen rope. So all I need to do is set up a secondary one like so. And then this one is going to make linen rope. And then last but not least, I can do this. I really like those other boxes. There we go. And this is now going to be spitting out some rope as soon as we get enough of this linen thread. It needs 3 of each, no 4 of each I should say, and then it's going to make some linen rope. We still have some customers in the shop. Not sure what is still left to buy. I have restocked a few times now already. There we go. I think those were probably the last customers of the day. Yeah, it's getting nighttime now. But we've made a lot of money and set up a lot of production. And look at that, we can actually harvest the flax now. That is a lot of flax. So we have a complete storage box full of that now. That can completely be turned into linen and into rope. I probably should be setting this up slightly different. For example, what I could do is set up something like this. This is going to mass produce the mesh, mass produce the linen, and then mass produce the rope as well. Oh, actually forgot to put in a box at the end here. So let me go and do that as well. And there we go. That's an entire table full of linen production. But now we should be able to very easily and quickly get to that level 3 production tomorrow. Of course, you can use the evening to actually start producing some more stuff, as well as restocking everything, etc, etc. So you can spend some more time during today actually selling your stuff. It's also worth noting that if you run out of space, you can actually buy more stuff. You can add more land to the mix. It is going to cost you daily rent, but if you just saw how much stuff I actually sold during the day, that daily rent is not going to be the problem as long as you don't overdo it. However, for the moment, I think we have plenty of space to work with. As you can see, I have 2,500 gold. I have a whole lot of stuff to sell. And on top of that, I have actually just replenished all my inputs. I've replanted some of that seed. I am still producing rope that I haven't even sold yet. We can add more mortar to the mix. I keep doing it in the wrong way. There we go. Let's replenish all of that. And honestly, the easiest way to do this is probably just to add a few more of these boxes to the mix and fill them all up. I guess we're the mortar shop now. I think it's time for a good night of sleep. So let's see. We sold almost 4,000 gold worth of mortar. Almost 1,000 of those gears as well, which is not bad. That's a little bit of supplemental income. And we spent a whole lot of money on replenishing resources, but that's all in the game, and that's not really a problem. I mean, we are selling it for a lot more than it's costing us to make it, so, you know, I mean, taking into consideration I have everything replenished, and I'm already making quite a bit of profit. Yeah, that seems to add up. Let's see, I need some more rope. Should have some more rope available now. I do think there's actually some additional production happening throughout the night as well to speed things up. And if we go to my quest, I should be able to complete it and we can start unlocking iron ore. Well, we have the carpenter quest unlocked now, which means we can unlock the checkout table, which eventually we'll be able to upgrade so it can do automatic checkouts. So it's a good start, and let's see where it is in our crafting overview. There we go, it's a checkout table over here. And if we put one of those maybe down here in the middle. Let's see, can we already upgrade it? No, we cannot upgrade it just yet. It's just the same table that we already had. Now we can have people checking out in multiple places. So, not sure if that's particularly useful, but it is a thing we can build now. The upgrades are going to be way more important than actually building this over here. So, let me recoup some of those materials. There we go. And the real focus is going to be on things like catapults that are going to be auto-delivering things into shelves. Anything with an open lid, basically, as long as you can get the angle and distance correct. Now, rather than trying to manually restock every time, what we can do is set up a crusher like this and set up some processors to make some mortar in our actual shop. So you can see I set it up in the corner over here. And I use some of these catapults that we now unlock to catapult that stuff right into the boxes over here. And now all we need to do is put some limestone on here. There we go. This is going to crush the stone into normal stuff, into mortar, and then resupply this automatically. I still have to treat with my customers, but I won't have to actually bother with the mortar production itself and putting it into the boxes. And there you go. There will be mortar popping out on the catapult. Bloop, right into the stock box. Now, this is not the fastest production, but at least it's automated production and automated restocking. So we could kind of do that with the rest of this shop as well, but honestly I want to start progressing a little bit further into the game. For example, I can also start making iron ore, and you can see that happening over here. So I'm putting in the wood into a furnace. That furnace is then heating up the iron smelter, and the iron smelter is smelting the iron ore into actual iron ingots. Now the nice thing about this is I have a raw material storage over here that I can restock daily with logs, so that this can get an infinite amount of logs just going in automatically. We can also use that same iron to start making iron nails, which are going to sell for a pretty hefty amount. You can make 3 nails out of 1 iron ingot, so yeah, that's really nice. And I also upgraded my selling facility over here a little bit. I just have boxes where I can dump all the stuff that I'm producing into, and then it is automatically going to resupply these boxes over here. So you can see I'm selling a lot more different things now. I still have my automated mortar production over here, but I still have the other production over there as well. So, you know, this is a nice little way of semi-automating your sales apparatus. Now, of course, I still need to do the actual customers, but yeah, the quests are actually ramping up in the rewards as well. So you can see I need nails, quicklime, and ingot for a quest over here. And then I need some more advanced stuff that I can't actually make just yet. And this is how the game will keep you busy for quite a while. As a random side note, if you were wondering, yeah, you can actually go and explore the town. I mean, there's not that much happening in the town, especially not during the night. But you can move around, you're not just completely confined to your own store. The fun thing about this game is that it feels like you're playing a miniature factory builder, although this factory is not that miniature if you look at everything I've already set up. And I'm really thinking small at this point, because there's nothing stopping you from scaling this up quite a bit, other than maybe your resources. But if you are producing more advanced stuff, then you can also make a lot more money. You can set up quite the store after a little while, and this is just a demo, don't forget about that. There is quite a bit of technology still to go, and honestly the game does seem to need a little bit of balancing and refining. Mortar, for example, is very efficient to make and sells extremely well, while most of the other stuff, other than potions that I can now make, doesn't seem to be kind of worth making unless you need it for production of buildings and things like that. For example, it feels kind of bad when people walk off with small wooden gears if they could also be buying potions for 80 gold, something like that. So yeah, I don't know. Is this completely balanced and ready to be released? No, but the game is not coming out for about 4 months, so it's kind of part of the package deal. Is the demo really interesting and fun? Yeah, I think so. It's really promising. I really like the aesthetics of this game as well, and the fact that you're kind of like I mentioned before, building like a mini factory in this game. I can't wait to to build a mole through my door into my building, or toss, I don't know, things into my storage through the window with the catapults, things like that. And yes, you can actually do all of that. So you know, there's a lot more to explore, I think, in this particular game. This is where I'm going to end it for now, though, so I can actually release this and make sure you get the chance to actually put this out on your own computer and play it through the weekend and see if you like it, and if so, put it on your wish list. If you enjoyed this and you're still here, you are awesome, and I do hope to catch you in the next one.